Hey everyone, again, I'm back, and I named this sort of series Flic FAQs. I don't know if it'll stick or not, but it's sort of self-explanatory FAQs. So we're here with our second episode, and we're gonna discuss more questions we've been seeing around. So what is a question we've been seeing around a little bit, Dave?
Besides the Aurora 800 question,
that one
what stock is that? If you'd like the answer to that, go look at the last video, and you will find that answer. Still keeps coming at us. What is that film stock? So. The other question I get a ton of is, what should we do? What are the development times? I guess if I push Vision 3 film by 2 stops, 3 stops, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And I always get kind of a chuckle out of it because forever Kodak has not had any information on pushing that stock, which seeing as how it's supposed to be a film stock in controlled conditions, it's quite understandable. Mm-hmm. But even then, they've recently come out with some numbers. You can find it on their Kodak Motion website to get the numbers for pushing Vision film.
So this film's been out for quite a long time, correct?
In various iterations for close to 20 years.
So 20 years, and they just released the push.
Yeah, just now, yeah. So, you can see what their level of enthusiasm was for it. And realistically, film stocks are shot in controlled situations, but they did not give any extended times for anything beyond 1 stop.
No, just 1 stop. So they're not letting people hey, you're going to want to shoot this at 5 stops for this one.
Well, I get some pretty odd questions on that one, and my recommendation is it's like every film, if you can shoot them at box speed, shoot them at box speed, and if you really want to get super grainy on the film, sometimes it's a good idea just to look for a different film stock that's really grainy, so and for people starting out, I think there's a lot of YouTube yak about pushing film.
I've seen it quite a lot, and when I was starting out film, I was like, oh, am I supposed to shoot this a complete different way or change my ISO or like this? And I just found out that hey, I'm just gonna shoot it at what it tells me to instead of not knowing what the results are going to look like and completely guessing.
Or, there's an awful pile of money goes into research on creating a film stock.
Remind me how much Ektachrome cost?
A rumor has it $40 million to bring Ektachrome back.
Just for one single film emulsion.
Yeah. So, when you spend that kind of money, you got to think that those guys have a pretty good idea what they're doing. And it's probably worth believing them. So, push away if you want to get a grainier look or a certain look. But if you're just looking to get a great image, shoot at box speed. And with Vision film, 1. So,
all right, the next question we have on here is the biggest threat to film. What is the biggest threat that you perceive as owning, Flic Film and everything, the biggest threat?
Yeah, and it that question comes to me with, do you think Kodak is going to stop making film and, yada, yada, yada. And Kodak sells an enormous amount of film. I don't think they're going to stop making film. Even their motion film is a big business. One of the giant movies will suck up more film than most of North America would, for example, in 35 millimeter in a year.
I think so, because I can think of just the last 5 movies that I've seen in theaters were primarily shot on film, and there was even one where they had to get a bunch of old IMAX, this is Oppenheimer, a bunch of old IMAX, I can't remember, just big huge machines that they had to dust off and then get people to learn them again just so they could shoot film. And it was about, I don't know, 13 miles, I think they said the final cut of a 3-hour movie is. So think of 13 miles of, it's different film, but 35 miles. Think of 13 miles just spanning that just for one single movie.
And what you want to be in that situation is the guy that can fix those machines.
Yeah, you're valuable.
Charge what you want. So biggest threat to film is price. Affordability. In my mind, it's that's kind of what drives us a lot here. Is we're constantly pushing for ways to keep our costs down. We didn't raise our chemical costs for 4 years straight. We've raised them now, but we've given a discount back to our original pricing for a bit more volume. So, we've tried to keep our prices as low as we can. I mean, we're always pushing, as you know.
Yes, I know. I made the video. Affordability.
Yeah, well, and just working here, you know that it's the constant push for efficiency to keep our costs down. But if things get too expensive in film, every little disaster becomes compounded. I think if you go and shoot a very expensive roll of film, it doesn't come out properly, it's pretty discouraging to go back. Whereas if we go out and shoot a reasonably inexpensive roll of film, it doesn't come out, you're not going to kind of get kicked in the butt too hard. So
yeah, it was a huge discouragement. When I first started film, I was dropping off at a drugstore, as some people started out with, and then just the disheartening of, hey, there's nothing on the roll, you screwed up, and just be like, okay, well, I guess I got to go spend another $20 on film just to figure out if I'm going to get it right again.
Yeah.
And it is really discouraging when that happens, and having something more affordable makes it easier.
Right. So that segues us into another, this is a really strange question that well, it's not a strange question, I understand where it's coming from, but I have had like 5 of these in a short period of time. And the question is, I use your developer on your film, and my film came out completely blank. Why is that? And I'll go back and say, do you see your leader? Is there an image or something on your leader? And they'll get back to me and say, no, there's nothing on this film. And so for everybody that experiences that, it's a good lesson in marking your developer bottles very, very clearly and not mixing things up. The only way that can happen to wipe out all that is using your fixer before your developer. And it's stunning how often I get this.
Do you think it's because a lot of people aren't used to separated bleach and fix in kits?
I don't think it's got anything to do with that, really.
You think it's just people mismanaging their bottles and which ones are which, or not labeling them?
Not labeling them. Yeah. Label your bottles, folks.
Yeah, especially also important, label them so you know how many rolls you've got left on them. You don't be using stuff that oh, this is completely exhausted, let me use it. I think I got one more roll off, and then,
So no matter what, you should see edge markings or certainly your leader, where it's stuck out, it is exposed, and if you run the developer first, you will have something there. You never, if your film strip comes out absolutely clear, oops, that was the fixer first. Okay, so weird question, but I for some reason I've got it a few times. I'm pretty sure we're not mixing our fixer into the developer bags. Fixer bag is like this, developer bag is like that. Doesn't, can't happen on this.
So make sure you label your bottles.
So label those bottles. Yeah, we don't have to ask that embarrassing question. So
speaking about development, another question we see a lot is E6 kits. So slide film developing kits. I've even asked you this one before. Is that something we're planning on making? What do you think?
I would say, like last year, I was just looking at it going, no. The price of slide, well, first off, Fuji started hacking and slashing all their slide films.
Yeah, that's known. It just seems like every now and then they're just executing one of their emulsions.
Yeah. And then Ektachrome the price of Ektachrome went loony. I mean, it's crazy, especially in Canada here. I mean,
I think it was $40 when I went to my local camera store, and I was like, I can't justify that at all. $40, you're looking, and that's not including development. So you're looking at over $1 per frame, probably $2 even if you're getting it developed. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, so sales of Ektachrome were dropping. I certainly hear from the people we deal with on our customers and labs that we sell to and stuff. They were all cutting back on their E6 development. A couple of people shut down their E6 development, and it was just a lack of film or affordable film that was doing that. So of course we launched last year the Chrome 100, and those sales are just they seem to be on the increase. There's more and more recognition. The guys that are doing E6 development in their labs are very appreciative,
That's
I guess, of that, because our price is so much lower. So if that continues, it's very expensive to do a new developer like that. For us to do it, we get a launch of something that's going to work. Probably $30,000 on our side to just get it, a developer working, and we need some volume to get that.
Yes.
So we'll have to see what happens. But
yeah. So if let's say people start buying Chrome out the window and everything, that idea would certainly come up again.
Yeah, I know where Fuji, picked it up, and
Yeah, and if someone else released another slide film and it was in the market circulating,
sure.
then that'd be ever more reason. But just as we see it now, not really viable.
If we if we see our Chrome sales, they are increasing. Every month we're seeing big increases in it. But we would, it takes a lot of volume. In other words, you make a kit and it's good for 8 rolls of film. So you've got a lot of rolls of film that have to be sold, because only 50% maybe of Chrome slide shooters would do their own. The most 25%, I don't know.
I think around there would be correct.
Yeah. So we got to sell a lot more film.
Yep.
Come out. Anyway,
another topic I see is that, okay, so little geography stuff. We are located in a town of 300 people. This is where everything Flic Film happens, is at a town of 300 people in the Canadian Rockies, small town in Alberta. Why are we here, Dave? Why do we do everything here? Why not in we got the closest city, which is Calgary, which almost has, I think, close to 2 million people by now. It's a half an hour away. Why aren't we there? Why are we sort of in this small little area?
Well, I have to correct you on one thing. It's not a town. It's actually a village.
Village, or not a hamlet, or I don't know.
No, we're way bigger than a hamlet.
Way bigger, like 2 times bigger than a hamlet. A village, yes, so a village.
Yeah, we're a village. So, and there are 306, I think, on the last count. So, why are we here? It's really cool here.
It is.
Just south of here is where Clint Eastwood landed here when he was filming The Unforgiven. Or actually, he didn't land here. He sent a guy up here. He heard there was a good place to shoot westerns up here. He said his chief locations guy up here. The guy phoned him, the rumor has it, legend has it, phones him up the next day and says, "You got to see this. You got to come up here." He said, "Well, I'm not going to fly up there on the first day. Come on, give me 3 or 4 sites." I said, "No, this is it." And just south of here in the Whaleback. Well, you've been to the Whaleback?
Yeah.
And apparently Clint came up here, hopped in a helicopter, hopped up on the Whaleback, and that was it. They filmed The Unforgiven here. There are lots of cowboy stuff filmed just south here, south east, I guess it is, John Scott's ranch. We're surrounded by buffalo herds, and this cowboy town. We're 40 kilometers from the Great Divide, which is the steepest part of the Rockies. It's just a cool place to live. And does it really matter if we're here or in Calgary? I mean, we ship 100%. So trucks will come here and pick the stuff up. Couriers come here daily. We don't really care where we are as far as that goes, because the distance between Calgary and the UK and Longview in the UK, not measurable.
Yeah.
So, we ship to Hong Kong, Australia, whatever, certainly into America. We're just as close to Indianapolis, or one distributor is in America, here is Calgary. So we might as well live where it's pleasant and a very cool place to live.
I got no traffic coming into work at all.
Let's live in an industrial park in Calgary.
An industrial park with smoke blowing everywhere. Everything's really gray. It's very nice out here. Just sort of being out almost in the wild, basically. We got the mountains. We got some national parks near us, and it's just it's pleasant.
Oh yeah, and every fall the bears come into town. And
Yeah, we got bears and deer wandering into the small little village, and it's nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway,
that would appear to be the end of the second episode. We answered another questions. Of course, as always, list a bunch of questions down below, and we'd love to answer them any way we can, either in video format, comment format, and just, yeah, talk to us. We love we love engaging with our audience here at Flic Film, and just like to start a conversation.
and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.